Welcome in. It's another Soccer Down Here 1v1. My name's Jason Longshore. A little bit of a preview 1v1 this time around because I'm making a trip on Wednesday up to Chattanooga, Tennessee to see the Chattanooga Red Wolves for the first time at CHI Memorial Stadium. Had a chance to see it as we were driving up to Nashville for the match last week, and man, it's kind of crazy to see such a cool venue from I-75 as you're driving into Chattanooga on the East Ridge. And I'm excited to see a match there. The gigantic video board immediately grabs your attention. It's been very cool to watch what's going on in Chattanooga with the Red Wolves, with an old friend, Sean McDaniel, who is the president and general manager of the club. Excited about the growth, excited about the team that they've put together this season. They have become a very difficult out in USL League One, and it'll be South Georgia Tormenta coming to town, a team that they've developed a little bit of a rivalry with. Had a chance to catch up with Sean and talk about some of the old days and also everything going on with the Red Wolves today. But first, visit soccerdownhere.net to get your specially priced $12 general admission tickets for the match. Would love to see some of the SDH listeners hanging out. Soccerdownhere.net. Click on the Chattanooga article. It's also $2 beer night, just in case you want to come out, have a couple of beers, have a designated driver, of course, but we would love to see some of y'all in Chattanooga. Come out and join us for the pregame at 6. We'll run till about 6:45. And then kickoff will be just after 7 o'clock. If you can't join us, you can watch on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/soccerdownhere. And then you can watch the match on ESPN+. We'll also be taking pictures and posting things from our social media accounts. We're at soccerdownhere on all of those. So please give us a follow and interact with us. And we will be talking to you live from Chattanooga on Wednesday. But now, here's the interview with President and General Manager of the Chattanooga Red Wolves, Sean McDaniel.
Jason, it's great to be with you. I'm doing well, thank you.
We go back a long way in these soccer circles, back to NPSL days, traveling all around the Southeast, renting vans, all the chaos with that. It's been exciting to watch what you're building with the Chattanooga Red Wolves and how everything's coming together. How crazy has it been when you think back to, kind of when we first met to now?
Well, I think you said it just perfectly. Back in the very early days, certainly when you and I met, we were doing the best we could with the best we had. And back then, that was certainly prior to Atlanta United, prior to Nashville SC. League One didn't exist. Championship was still something that was kind of going head to head with the NASL. So the soccer world in America was still a little bit tipsy-turvy. So to look back just over the last decade and to see, well, a couple things, to see the success in Southern markets with soccer, but for you and I personally, who have been in the trenches just because we loved it so much, to now be on this side of it, to really see this incredible growth and explosion. I'm not sure we could have predicted it, but I'm glad we're here.
Yeah, people say to me, is this a dream? And I'm like, no, it was impossible when we first got started with all of this stuff. It wasn't even anything that we could have dreamed of. And now we're at a point, it was very cool to drive by as we were going to Nashville and coming back for the game on Thursday and see your new digs and see the giant video board from the interstate. How exciting has it been putting all of that together?
Well, I think, it's an extension of what you were just saying. Could we have dreamt this 10 years ago? No way. I mean, having professional soccer at this level goes far beyond just what you put on the field. It's a stadium, it's a real estate, it's infrastructure and amenities that up until really this year didn't exist. And as we look at the business of pro soccer, and we look to Atlanta, we look to us, we look to Nashville, we look to other markets, it's equally as important to develop out the stadium experience and stadium aspects. And the fact that it's literally going up before our eyes on the side of I-75 in Chattanooga, Tennessee is, again, could have we have ever envisioned it? No. But the fact that we're here, it's really it's like a present, a soccer present every day.
It's great timing to get the venue up this year as well with the season you guys are having on the field. The Cardiac Red Wolves. You guys are making things very interesting for your fans right now.
It's not by design, but we do like that it generates a lot of interest. You know, when Coach Obleda, this is his second year, but really it's his first. Last year with everything with COVID, it was disruptive to everyone's lives, certainly well beyond the sporting universe. But as we build out rosters and try to find soccer talent to put on the field, we kept 6 players from last year, 6. That's a lot of work. Credit to Obleda. Credit to our assistant, Kevin Sawchak. Those 2 guys really worked hard to find the talent, look for the talent, and I like what we built. I like not just what's on the field, but the culture, the locker room, the enthusiasm. And yes, while scoring winners late in the game tend to make my palms sweaty, it's great to see the success and being rewarded with some wins.
It's exciting as well where you guys are in the table, 3rd right now, behind the 2 teams that did set the pace last year with Omaha and Greenville. It feels like the Red Wolves are the success story right now in USL League One in 2021.
I think that's something that I agree with, mostly because we have games in hand. Mm-hmm. It's not ironic at all that the 3 of us have all tied, right? We've tied Greenville, we've tied Omaha, and it's definitely going to be a battle all the way to the end. But all of the teams are now in the middle of their season, and this is where injuries come into play and, trying to hold leads and things that can make a difference late in the season matter. So we just can't take our foot off the gas.
How do you feel like League One has bounced back from the pandemic?
There's a couple of thoughts behind that. The first, I would say, even prior to that, Jason, is the level of League One is very, very good. You know, when the league started, there was really no sense as to what is it going to look like. But now that we're in our 3rd year and we've seen the teams in League One, and that's all the teams, the MLS sides, the independent clubs, everybody's good. And not just good, but professional players. And this says a lot for the amount of talent that exists in the United States. We just have so much talent in this country, and now there's a place for them to play. What makes League One, I think, the rising star in pro soccer is it now gets to sit in markets that really don't have any other professional sporting competition. And if we look what's happening in minor league baseball, I think League One's positioned to be that next, is to be the pro team in mid markets that minor league baseball is now exiting. And I believe the USL is positioned well for that.
Yeah, it feels like it was a smart strategic play to kind of look at the size of markets that we're seeing across League One. And even just in our region, there's so many more markets that can be on the table with the right ownership, the right support locally. It feels like there's not really a cap or a limit on how big League One could be.
No, and where I think the USL is doing it right and has it right is they are not just taking teams, right? There's a whole play involved with the real estate, the stadium, the financial aspect, all the pieces that need to have structure to show a proper professional league.
Yeah, all those things that, back in the day that, again, we could have never dreamed of, that are so vital to sustainability. Like, that's been the word that I've always tried to use about this level, is sustainability. You know, you want to see teams be able to be self-sustaining. How close do you feel like you guys are to that in your third year?
Yeah. So, like most small market sports, mid-level market sports, we rely so heavily on the ticket sale. You know, we're hopeful that in that glorious day, broadcast dollars and advertisers will continue to funnel their way in. Again, credit to the USL. They've tapped into the ESPN and the streaming services mostly. So we see that opening up for us, but we have to sell tickets and sponsorships. And as we get more eyeballs on the product in the stadium, it just expands exponentially. I like to see that most teams in League One, the independent clubs, are, you know, they're pushing the 2,000 to 3,000 per game, and I think it goes up from there because it has since the first year.
It's exciting to see. And what I also love that you're doing specifically, and many other clubs in League One are doing, is working on developing the next generation internally and putting down roots in terms of the academy. How has that plan come off so far for you guys in Chattanooga?
Well, it was always part of the vision. You know, we as we look at the strategic plan, and I mean that in its truest form, when Bob Martino, the owner, and we sit down and look at the big picture product of who the Chattanooga Red Wolves are. Academy is the first piece of that for a lot of reasons, not just for soccer development, but it's branding as well. We have, 800 kids wearing Red Wolves crests around town throughout the Southeast. We own our buses and we have our logos on there, and we're able to take our teams around the country in those vehicles. And it all just like a symphony works together. And so the Academy is really the cornerstone to that as we pursue that path to pro. And certainly for the first team, that is exactly what it is. We have 2 League Two teams, one in Dalton, Georgia, and over on the West Coast in Park City, Utah. And we've now added the women's team in the W League. And we feel like we've completed the soccer circuit, and which was always what we wanted to do. And now we're there.
How exciting is it in that area that you know so well to see all of the young talent and how you're starting to plant those seeds for the Red Wolves? I mean, I've done high school state championships here in Georgia for the last couple of years, and this past year, just doing the research on teams, we had Dalton High School, for example, seeing how many players were there that had been attached to the Red Wolves Academy. It was pretty cool to see that happen.
And I think, Jason, just the culmination of that, you mentioned Dalton High School. Our first academy signing, Christian Zaragoza, is just that. Came up through our academy, played for Dalton High School, and made his pro debut under an academy contract just a couple of weeks ago. And that's what we're trying to do. That's exactly what fits the Red Wolves narrative.
When the W League all came together, was that just something immediately you guys had to be a part of?
Yeah, I mean that's why we launched as one of the early adopters. We knew this is where we wanted to be. We've had a successful program and prior to the USL launching their league, we had a placeholder for them where they are now. But now that we're kind of under the family of USL teams and organizations, putting them in there was just not even a thought. It's like, we're ready and let's do it.
What are some of the next steps for the Red Wolves? What are some of the next things on your checklist?
Well, on the field, it's to win the trophy, right? Let's bring a national championship to the city of Chattanooga. So that's always the priority when we look at Coach Obleda and we look at the players. It's building a team to win a trophy. But on a more broader organic level, it's really getting people in and around the stadium and the development, because it's a live, work, play environment that we're building with the Red Wolves as the anchor within the that framework. So it's to continue the path we're on, and and let's get from 2,000 fans to 3,000 fans to 5,000 fans, and that's our goal.
It's exciting for me as somebody who's followed what has been going on down in Statesboro with Tormenta to come up on Wednesday and see you guys with Tormenta. We mentioned Greenville before. Is that becoming a little bit of a friendly rivalry with three teams that are kind of, drivable distances almost with Statesboro, where you guys are seeing each other a lot in League One? Are you starting to get a little bit of a rivalry going with these two?
And I think, Jason, when we look at that, when we look at the growth of this soccer landscape, the regional rivalry is exactly what has to be built next. So now you have Tormenta, now you have Greenville, you have us. You start to expand the footprint a little closer, and now all of a sudden you have people who are engaged in the season and the league because we have the regional rivalries. We played Greenville 4 times this season. That's not fun for either team. But from a fan perspective, it's exactly what they want. They want to see the best teams playing all the time, and they're going to get it this year. And Tormenta, we struggle with them. And so we've got that rivalry going now with the banter from the fans and certainly on the field. And it's a great point, and one that we hope the USL will continue to expand on.
Yeah, I've always felt like that was the secret going forward, where we've seen the leagues in the lower divisions be nationwide, and I don't know if those rivalries, those games are as appealing as somebody that you see more often, that Greenville, Statesboro, and some of their fans are going to come up, and you see a team a bunch of times in a row, you're going to have some friction on the field, no question.
Again, we see it in our ticket sales. We see it, we played Tucson the other night, good match, a game we probably should have closed out, but the excitement behind it was new because people aren't familiar with Tucson.
Right.
Tormenta, on the other hand, we've already exceeded our ticket sales for the Tucson match, and we still have 2 days left. And that's because it's Tucson and $2 beer. But it's I think, proving your point.
What's the ceiling for League One, in your opinion?
I'm anxious to see what MLS does with their Division III league. I don't know what that holds. We have our annual meetings with the USL next week. So when you look at who's positioned well to grow the professional soccer base here, it's the USL. And as you noted earlier, the markets that are ripe for that type of expansion are in League One based on U.S. Soccer's professional league standards. That said, I think there's room to really make a league so big that I never like to say pro-rel. That's always a tricky thing. But the point is, we can regionalize markets. So we, from a business standpoint, reduce travel expenses, create the rivalries, as you suggested, and then grow out of that. So if we can regionalize the leagues, League One's positioned to do that very well. And I believe they're heading that way.
As you've been building things out with the Red Wolves, what is the story that you tell people to kind of encapsulate what you feel like the Chattanooga Red Wolves are and can be?
We are a microcosm of all the great things that Chattanooga, Tennessee has become. And by that, I mean, we see this great city exploding, not just in growth, but in culture, in community, in education, in resources. And as you take a snapshot of our fans in the stands, it shows what Chattanooga has become. There's new life here being breathed here. There's new people. There's new everything in and around the city. And the Red Wolves are not only a part of that, they're a beneficiary of that. And it's exactly, we are what Chattanooga has become.
I can't wait to see it up close. I can't wait to see CHI Memorial Stadium with a lot of folks in it on Wednesday. We're going to be doing a pregame show ahead of the Tormenta match. So we'll talk about the lineups. We'll talk about the match for the people on hand, but it's also going to go out on Twitch. So our listeners who are out there all over the world are going to get a chance to see a little bit of what you're building in Chattanooga. And it's been exciting for some of our listeners who, maybe are in Philadelphia, maybe are out west, even some across the Atlantic, who are starting to learn a little bit more about what we're doing down here in the Southeast with the sport.
Well, we're so grateful that you guys are coming here. Again, you and I have had a long-standing personal relationship, and as your success has grown to be a part of where you guys are now, Jason, it truly is an honor, and I mean that. And it's going to be a good day Wednesday, and I'm excited to have you guys here.
I'm excited to see your success firsthand as well. We'll be there on Wednesday. We're going to start our show at 6 o'clock, so you can watch on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/soccerdown here. And you can come join us at SCHI Memorial Stadium in Chattanooga, right off of I-75. You cannot miss it. It's going to be exciting. Sean, thanks for the time today. Appreciate it.
Jason, thank you.